In today's video, we'll be exploring 10 creepy American urban legends. They're whispered around campfires and passed down from generation to generation. They spark fear in the hearts and minds of children and adults alike, and each time they're told, the terror spreads. Yes, my friends, if you haven't guessed it already, today on FTD Facts, we're going to be diving into some of the creepiest American urban legends. So let's get right to it. Starting off at number 10, we have Alabama's Dead Playground. This eerie playground adjacent to Maple Hill, Huntsville's oldest cemetery, doesn't just have an eerie nickname for fun. The playground was designed to entertain kids while their parents visited the graves of loved ones. Wait a second. Hold on. Are you telling me that someone thought it was a good idea to slap a playground in the middle of a cemetery? Something about that just screams trouble to me, and we haven't even gotten into the details of the legend yet. Anyways, the legend has it that the playground was actually built on top of the graves of babies and infants that had been buried there years before. It is believed that the spirits of children who've been buried in the cemetery since 1822 come out to play at night. That's a big no thank you for me. People have reportedly observed orbs of light going down the slide, seen swings moving on their own as if someone was on them, and even heard giggling. Creepier still, some say the spirits include victims of a series of child murders that happened in the 60s. All I know is you wouldn't catch me dead or alive in any playground built over graves. Moving on to Michigan's Hell's Bridge. Ever heard of the tale of Elias Frisk? Well, neither had I, but a deranged old preacher, according to blood-curdling lore, pipered a group of tethered children into the woods near what is now Algoma Township. Like, how terrifying is that? He was somehow able to get them in a trance-like state, tie them up, and get them to follow him into the woods? No, sir. It gets worse though. He then slaughtered them one by one and threw them into Cedar Creek before being caught by their parents and hanged. In its current form, Hell's Bridge is a creaky, narrow metal footbridge in the middle of the woods, where those brave enough to cross at night claim to hear the voices and screams of children and are sometimes even greeted by a black figure with glowing eyes as they cross it. Could it be the hellish ghost of Elias seeking to throw even more innocent souls to their demise? Up at number 8, we have Idaho's Babies of Massacre Rocks. A picnic by the river might not be such a good idea unless you enjoy the sounds of babies crying. And no, I don't mean living and breathing babies either. Locals believe these cries belong to the babies that mothers were forced to drown during a famine rather than watch them slowly starve. Now, while this tale is incredibly sad, it's also pretty creepy because some believe that the drowned babies evolved into creepy water creatures with fins and gills terrorizing the waters of the river. And you might have heard of Mississippi's Devil's Crossroads. A trio of electric guitars on a pole in Clarkson, Mississippi marks where legend says that musician Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil for the ability to play the blues. As the story goes, Johnson was down on his luck and walking along when he suddenly came to Clarksdale Crossroads. It was here that he met a stranger, aka the devil, who offered to tune his guitar and bring him great fame and success. Naturally, assuming that there was nothing to lose, Johnson accepted. But at what cost? Well, Robert Johnson would go on to become the greatest blues player of his day and possibly ever, bringing crowds to near frenzy whenever they saw him. But again, was it worth it? If he did in fact sell his soul to the devil, was it truly worth spending an eternity in hell for the short-term fame and success on earth? From the descriptions I've heard about hell, I would say absolutely not. Alright, and up at number 6, we have Utah's Petrified Forest. Apparently, the Petrified Forest of Escalante, Utah is cursed. It is believed that anyone who takes petrified wood from the state park befalls bad luck, job loss, sickness, and other random accidents. In fact, park managers claim that they get dozens of packages every year from people who send back chunks of wood they regretfully stole from the park during a visit. Now, my question is, why don't people ever just listen? If rumor has it that taking the wood brings misfortune, why would you even risk it? I would be afraid to even touch the wood during a visit, never mind take it. And up at the halfway point in today's video, South Dakota's Walking Sam. This one is creepy. Teenagers claim a slender, 7-foot-tall shadow-like spirit known locally as Walking Sam appears before them and commands them to end their own lives so it can feast on their souls. Walking Sam apparently seeks out and stalks lonely, depressed adolescents. This legend sounds super familiar, to me at least, and I'm pretty sure Walking Sam highly inspired the Slender Man horror film. If you haven't seen it, check it out, you'll see exactly what I mean. Moving on to southern Alaska's KUSHTAKA. The KUSHTAKA are believed to be shape-shifting creatures and a cross between an otter and a human man. They are said to make noises that mimic children and women in distress to lure fishermen to their doom. Creepy, right? But also, have you seen an otter before? They're so cute and fluffy with these long little, kind of like rat-like tails. I'm not sure that I would run scared or laugh if I saw a half man, half otter. All right, this next one is probably the creepiest in my opinion. South Carolina's Boo Hags. Boo Hags basically make traditional vampires seem like shimmery, sparkly Robert Pattinson vampires. Boo Hags are skinless beings that creep into people's homes in the low country, climb on their chests for a ride, whatever that means, and gain vitality by sucking out their breath. They also have a nasty habit of, get this, tearing off the victim's skin and wearing it to keep themselves warm. Okay, somebody knit these guys a sweater, because if being cold is the issue, we can solve that without having to suck the life out of someone or, you know, tear off their skin. And up at number 2, we have West Virginia's Mothman. You've probably heard of this one. The Mothman was introduced to West Virginia in 1966 with the best newspaper headline ever. Couples see man-sized bird, creature, something. From there, residents all over West Virginia reported seeing the winged, human-like, red-eyed creature around the state, unsure if it was a demon, an alien, a genetic experiment gone wrong maybe. Even as recently as 2016, Mothman sightings have made the news. Yes, like the actual news. Can you imagine sitting at home watching the news and watching the reporter talk about Mothman sightings as if it's a perfectly normal topic of discussion? All right, and all the way up at number 1, we have Tennessee's Skinned Tom. Ugh, just the name creeps me out. Now, dating isn't easy these days, right? But it can be deadly if you accidentally woo the wrong woman. At least it was in the case of young Tom, who ended up getting skinned alive by a beautiful woman's angry husband. So, the woman's husband was apparently in an angry rage after finding out that his wife had cheated on him with Tom, who at the time did not know the woman was married. It is said then that Tom's skinless, bloody ghost wanders around Lover's Lane to punish cheaters in a similar fashion. Yikes! Cheaters, beware. All right, friends, that brings us to the end of today's video on 10 creepy American urban legends. Let me know in the comments below which of these legends creeped you out the most. I definitely would not want to come face to face with one of those Boo Hags. I mean, right? Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you right back here next time for more facts. See ya.